you ever wish upon a star, Felipe?
I have.
Did you get what you wanted?
Yes.
I know, because I'm here. I'm Elmo, and we're here for another episode of Educated Discussions. And your dreams did come true. I'm here to discuss with you who is the best Disney prince.
Oh boy.
Now, you, as a connoisseur of Disney, I believe, did a almost 3-hour review of Disney World.
Of the other theme parks, right?
So you might have a little bit of context for what we're going to get into today.
You said it perfect. I have a little bit of context.
Don't worry, I don't have that much more.
Okay. You have a lot of stuff.
I have a lot of notes because I had to look up some information and actually found some interesting tidbits. So if you're someone who's interested at all in Disney lore, let me tell you what, you're going to learn something today. You're going to be a little more educated than you started off.
All right.
And Felipe here's going to get a little more educated. And we're going to use our expertise as fathers who want what's best for our daughters. And we're going to, decide who is the best Disney prince, as stated earlier. I have an 8-man tournament here. I have a bracket set up that will allow us to decide who is the greatest Disney prince. So what I'm going to do here is, Felipe, I'm going to tell you our 8 competitors. And you're going to tell me, on a scale of, you like 1 to 10.
Okay.
How well you know this character. Just so the audience knows how well informed you are, because we want to make sure there's no bias. We want to pick the best prince.
Right.
Prince Adam, also known as the Beast.
Oh, okay.
I did not know his name was Adam.
0.
I did not know his name was Adam previously before I researched this.
Prince Adam. Don't they usually... No, never mind. So what's his last... Do you know his last name?
Beast.
Adam
Beasterson?
Beast. Adam Beasterson.
That's a pretty good name.
Well, now that you mentioned Beast, I do know him. That is a 10. I know him.
10?
Did I know him?
You just know of him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I only know of him. Sorry.
So give me a number.
Like how well I know this character,
yeah.
like ins and outs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. 4.
Okay. Prince Eric from The Little Mermaid.
Okay, I'm happy you're providing the the franchise.
No, I have to. I'm pointing at the guy. It is him.
Yes, I do.
Dark-haired,
recognize him.
Suave guy.
I know him probably less than Beast.
Really?
3.
Okay. You never saw Little Mermaid 2?
I did not.
He's barely in it. Don't worry.
Okay.
They really underutilize him. Prince Naveen from The Princess and the Frog.
I know him about a 7.
All right.
I really enjoy
There's not
that
too
movie.
much. If you've seen the movie, you know him.
Correct.
Like, there's no extra details about him.
Yeah, there's no
Unlike
secrets.
a lot of the others. Prince Philip from Sleeping Beauty. I'm like 80% sure it's this guy on the left. On the picture we're looking at. Can you send me this picture? Can we send me
I'll
this
send you
Yeah,
this picture. You better Photoshop some arrows so you know which one we're
I'm like
looking
90% sure it's that guy.
at. That's not a good sign for that 100%.
Hey, but we're going to judge people not off of our bias, but off of what they do.
What'd you say his name was?
Prince Philip. All right.
0. Okay. I don't know anything about
you know,
this guy.
you know
I've
the story
never
of Sleeping
seen-
Beauty. You know
I've
Sleeping
s-
Beauty.
I've seen-
He's a 1 or 2.
Okay.
Prince Charming from Cinderella.
This guy. It's got to be him, right?
No, that's
my
that's
gosh.
Snow White.
This guy's Snow White? Okay, so this is Prince Charming? Mr.
Yes,
Mr.
correct.
Brown hair?
I was about to say he's not on here, but that's him. You just pointed at him.
Snow White, 1.
No, that's the Cinderella one.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. I really don't know these princes.
Well, you have a daughter, so you're going to learn about them eventually. We're prepping you for fatherhood, pretty much.
I appreciate it. I'll take any help I can get.
What's the number?
1.
Okay. Aladdin.
I guess he became a prince.
You know Aladdin.
All right, I'll give it a 6.
Okay. Prince Florian from Snow White. That's the guy in the middle.
That's this guy.
Yeah, the horse. He got special billing despite having the least character.
Yeah, 1.
Okay. I think I think even people who watch Snow White will give it a 1.
Okay.
So you're on an even playing field.
Thank goodness.
And then Flynn Rider from Tangled.
What I give Naveen?
You give him a 7?
8.
8. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I think you are judging this wrong in that you need to give yourself a little more credit through just cultural osmosis. I think you picked some up. Also, you do not know as much about Flynn Rider as you think you do, because let me give you a little bit of information about these guys.
But, real quick before you do this, Is this all info that is in the movie, or this is like deep down?
Most of it's in the movie. I just grabbed little tidbits that I thought were relevant from like a TV series or like a comic, but it's so minor that it's not even worth probably mentioning that I did that much digging.
Okay.
This is 90% movie based.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell you a little bit about these guys, but I want you to think about our tournament bracket here. And hopefully this is when it pops up on the screen, if I edit this properly.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell you our matchups here. Would you rather I say the movie? Is that better than the prince's name?
No, I have to learn it eventually.
All right. The Beast, Adam, versus Prince Eric from Little Mermaid.
Okay.
That's matchup number 1. Then we have Naveen versus Philip from Sleeping Beauty.
It's an easy winner, but okay.
Then we've got Prince Charming versus Aladdin.
All right.
And then we have Snow White Dude against Flynn Rider.
Okay.
That is our current bracket.
All right.
And I'm gonna say you and I have to we have to agree. There is no bending and I'm sorry. There's gonna be some compromise, but there is no like. We will have a result.
Okay.
This podcast will say who's the definitive best prince.
We'll try to convince each other. Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying? Okay. What is the scale you're rating these guys on?
So we have 4 pieces of criteria.
All right.
I'm going to put them on this paper for you. We've got... Man, this is going to be a pain to edit. We've got heroics.
Heroics.
The overall love story.
Okay. Overall love story.
Next, we've got their aesthetics, which is a very nice way of saying, yo, how good does this guy look?
Ooh.
Like if this dude came in on prom night for your daughter and if he coming in looking like Joe Schmo or he coming looking like Aladdin.
This Aladdin here.
Yeah. Oh, okay, fine. The 2019 one.
Okay.
And then their ability to delegate, as in if you lived in this guy's kingdom, would you feel good about your chances of survival despite the many people who apparently try to kill you in these movies?
Okay.
So again, to reiterate...
So how good he is at his job?
Yeah. How good of a ruler is he going to be? Heroics, the love story, the aesthetics, and their delegating ability.
That is a big word. Sounds good.
So we're going to start with our first matchup here. Get right into it. We've got the Beast versus Prince Eric. Now, knowing what you know right now, who do you got?
Out of those?
Out of the Beast.
Heroics.
Out of the Beast, who looks nothing like this picture.
Okay.
Because he's not a beast in that picture. Versus Little Mermaid. Who you got?
It's got to... okay. Love story.
The love story, heroics, delegate. Just
So far, without arguing?
yeah, without arguing.
Beast.
Okay, let me tell you a little bit about the Beast, okay?
All right.
First of all, the Beast, let me get the right paper. He got, for some context, he got turned into a beast. Do you know why?
There was a rose involved.
He was pretty much being a selfish jerk, and he was acting like a beast. So this witch turned him into a beast. That's all you need to know.
I remember that, yes.
That's all you need to know about this dude. Did you know that I thought this was an interesting tidbit. The artist was not allowed to see the voice actor. Because when they were designing the character, like we don't want him to look anything like a dude or the voice actor. We want him to look like a beast. So he didn't even get to meet the guy. So I thought that couldn't happen in today.
Right.
Like, oh man, you got Donald Glover? Oh, I'm going to Google. But
Yeah.
that wasn't a
Right.
possibility back then. So I thought that was a really interesting,
Yeah, it's cool.
creative, behind the scenes kind of deal. Also, it is stated little effort went into his human form because they knew everyone would hate it regardless. Do you like the way he looks?
He looks like a doofus. Like he looks like a suave Hercules.
I can see that.
Hercules is cooler, so
Well, tell you what, they didn't try very hard. They admitted to this because they knew you wouldn't like it no matter what they did. Did you know he was actually such a beast because of the shame? He was ashamed to be a beast. That's a crux of his character. I want you to think about that. The reason he's so beast-like to Belle and everything and Hermione in that one is because he's ashamed of the way he looks.
Okay.
So keep that in mind with his character. Keep in mind for the love story, he did keep her prisoner. He did keep Belle prisoner. And we have to keep in mind that he did kidnap her dad, and he only allowed her dad to leave. He's like, this girl got to stay with me forever, for the rest of her life. So think about that when you're thinking about the love story. Mm-hmm. Something I thought was interesting that I didn't know, that if he didn't find true love, he would eventually become more beast-like over time, eventually becoming just a
straight up animal
monster that lives in the woods. Like he would have no intellect at all. And I was like, yo, that's actually a pretty good like alternate ending. Mm-hmm. Apparently, I'm just bringing this up because it's so like off like anything else. According to the Marvel comics based off of Beauty and the Beast,
oh boy,
he had suicidal tendencies, and at various times wanted to no longer be alive because of the way he looked.
You're digging too deep.
I'm just no. That's as deep as it goes.
Okay.
He hates Christmas. There's like a prequel Beauty and the Beast, like a midquel, you could call it. He hates Christmas.
All right.
And he's a party member in the Kingdom Hearts video game. So that might be some extra points. All right. Now, Prince Eric, if you're unfamiliar with Little Mermaid, he saves Ariel saves him from like a ship disaster.
He's weak.
And he's like... No, I think he went to save his dog. Yeah. And then he's saved by this redheaded girl. He's like, he falls in love with her.
Yeah, but just on her looks. Okay.
Yeah. Well, she saved his life.
That too.
So, and for heroics and everything, he's a skilled helmsman. He could drive a boat. He could sail a boat. I mean,
yeah,
he could sail a boat.
Okay. We'll let that one slide.
He also is not vain because there's a point where he sees a statue of himself and does not like it. He does not like to be glorified in such a way.
But he's not shameful. Okay.
He eventually meets Ariel, but she has no voice, if you recall.
Right.
But he's like, no, I want to marry the girl who saved me. I think that's an important detail.
It's kind of jumping the gun, but okay. I feel like you need to really enslave someone for a little while before you really...
when he defeats Ursula, do you recall any of that scene at all? She's just a giant. She
was a giant.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm going to sail this boat right into this giant creature.
Okay, that's what he did. Okay, yes.
That's pretty brave.
Yeah, that is brave.
He kills her via ship. I put that in all caps for you.
Thanks.
He also saved a dolphin, so he cares about aquatic life.
Right.
And considering his wife is an aquatic person, that's important. Mm-hmm. And then there's this other part here, but I'm going to wait. So right now, if we're looking at the 4 qualities, do you have a preference for who is the better prince?
I'd still say Beast.
Beast? Okay. What did Beast do heroic-wise?
He fought, if I remember correctly, he fought some wolves or dogs.
He did fight wolves.
And saved Belle.
He saved her, but that's only because he scared her off, I believe. The reason she was in the woods and found the wolves and was in danger of them was because he got her scared to go into the forest.
Right, and then he had sympathy and felt bad. So he's like, you know what?
I mean, but that was his fault to begin with.
Correct. He was a beast. He was ashamed of how he looked. He never thought he would find true love. He caused this thing. He's like, you know what? I don't have to be a beast. Let me go. But he was a beast because he knocked all them dogs out the way, or wolves, whatever they were. It's pretty brave.
He doesn't do anything that much more brave than... Does he drive a giant ship into a giant monster? What's more brave?
Overcoming...
Insecurities,
yeah. That's pretty brave.
Okay. I disagree with you, but we've got more categories. The love story. He imprisoned this woman.
Okay, see, here's the problem. When you approached me for this cast, I'm not familiar as to why he did such things. Why did he do that?
I'll tell you right now. I believe I said it earlier. His dad strolled up, and he's like, get out of here. Because his dad was trying to find shelter. And then he kept him a prisoner. He kept him as a prisoner. And then Belle came to find him. And she's like, let my dad go. He's like, only if you swap places. Is that a good... And then she's like, oh, you seem
He must
awful.
be a pretty good guy to still have her fall in love with him after imprisonment. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Okay, aesthetics. You do not like the way this dude looks as a human.
Terrible.
So we're going to give it to Prince Eric.
Of course. Come on, that tan skin. Come on, boy.
Who do you trust to run a kingdom? An overly emotional beast who's now human? Or this dude that very clearly, is willing to go into battle?
You're saying he's talented sailboat driver, whatever you say.
Helmsman.
How did he get saved? a crashed ship, correct? Okay, so he clearly doesn't even know how to do.
That was out of his control.
Doesn't matter. He turned a beast turned into a beast, and his kingdom was fine.
Listen,
It was spotless, actually. It was
his
spotless.
servants. He had a chandelier clean and everything.
No, they stuck
Not a
around.
chandelier.
The doors could have been open, and they could have left.
The doors are probably people too.
Anyways,
I think this has to go to Eric. I think this has to go to Little Mermaid guy. But you're saying Beast.
all I know is there was never another female that made Beast want to leave Belle and go with someone else because, she could talk. Whatever. And that's what happened with Eric.
Well, he was conflicted.
Beast had his mind straight. He knew what he wanted, even if he had to imprison her to get it.
Okay. As a father,
You're taking this too literally.
As a father, who do you want with your daughter at the age of 21 or older?
I want my daughter to be able to see the good in a man, regardless of his appearance.
You could forgive a man who imprisoned your daughter because he kidnapped you.
Yeah, because then I'm free. Listen,
how
I like Beast more.
In these 4 categories, you think Beast wins?
Delegate. Explain your theory. I have never even seen.
Based on what you know,
Prince
based on
Eric,
what I've told you.
What?
Based on what I've told you, and that's all the information you're going to get.
The love story is better in Beauty and the Beast. I'm sorry, by far.
You're insane. Okay.
But delegate. I feel like you're trying real hard to convince me. I'm pretty set on Beast, but if you want to get into nitty gritty, then fine. I'll give it to Eric. Due to wolves and a giant sea creature, I guess one of those is a little bit more heroic. Just a smidge.
We'll put a star next to it and come back. And
No, that's it. Let's continue.
All right, Eric.
If not, we're gonna be here all night.
Eric. All right. Naveen,
by the skin of his teeth.
Naveen versus Philip.
Which one's Philip again?
But just for the record, I could listen. He imprisoned that girl, and is there not like what's the mindset a prisoner has when they fall in love with the person keeping them captive? There's a psychological term for that.
Yeah, that's like what happened with Joker and Harley Quinn, correct?
Yeah. So is that why you like Beast better because he's the Joker?
No.
All right.
So, which one is...
Stockholm Syndrome.
Okay. Which was the other one? Who's Philip?
Okay, Philip is the Sleeping Beauty guy. He killed a dragon. All right, let me give you a little detail on him so we could keep this going. All right. He's engaged... First, there's a weird age gap between him and the Sleeping Beauty girl. Aurora. That's her name.
Oh, yeah. She was like 16.
Yeah.
That's going to be a
factor. This movie starts with him being like, let's say 5 or so, or 6. I remember that. He's had her christening, and she's like a newborn. And then she's cursed.
Right.
But he was engaged. They were made to be engaged that day.
Oh, okay.
So then later, he's an adult, and he knows he's engaged to some girl he's not seen since he was a little kid. And he decides, I'm going to go in the woods, go hunting or whatever. And he finds this beautiful sound of a woman singing.
Oh.
And he sings with her. And guess what? He wants to marry her. He does not know that the woman he wants to marry is the same as the lady he's engaged to.
Oh, that's kind of crappy. Okay.
So he goes to his dad, and his dad's like, no, you got to marry this lady you're engaged to. And he's like, no, I want to marry this woman. When they're arguing about the same woman. I think that's a funny office level circumstance to be in. Guess what? Nonsense happens.
He eventually finds out it's the same person?
Inevitably.
Okay.
I would say this is a real reverse Romeo and Juliet situation. Because Romeo and Juliet, like, no, we don't want you to... We don't like those other family members. Where this is like, I want you to marry this girl. And you're in love with the same girl, but you don't know we're talking about the same person.
Okay.
So he goes to meet this peasant girl because he convinces his dad, I'm going to marry her. But then he's kidnapped. 3 little witches save him. And then he fights a dragon.
Now, when he fought this dragon, was it to get to Aurora?
Well, she's sleeping because she's the Sleeping Beauty.
I'm aware. Was the dragon guarding her?
He's got to kill the curse.
The dragon is the curse.
Yeah.
Oh, because it was Maleficent, wasn't it?
Correct.
Oh, okay, that's right. It's been a while, guys. I have seen
It's fine.
these.
It's fine.
It's
Don't worry.
It's been a bit.
I don't recommend going back to Sleeping Beauty at this point.
I tried.
Just watch Moana again.
No, Maleficent's a good one. The movie with Angelina
Oh,
Jolie.
okay. I've not seen it.
Watch it. It's pretty good.
Comment if you think I should watch that piece of cinema.
Yeah.
The Maleficent with Angelina Jolie. The problem with him fighting the dragon is he has OP weapons. He gets like weapons that are like destined for defeating this dragon and everything. Like, I think that devalues the idea of being a dragon, personally.
Okay.
If you got weapons that are like, yo, I'm level 12, I got these level 80 weapons. It's like, did you really earn that? Did you earn that win?
Okay.
Then Naveen, he's that cocky son of a gun. You're familiar enough with him.
Yes.
I'll go over some little bit, but he's a freeloader. He goes to marry a rich girl. He's going to America specifically to marry a rich woman to get their money. But then, he turns into a frog.
He gets cursed. Yes.
And he falls in love with Tiana while in her frog form. Mm-hmm. I don't know what this implies about Naveen, but he did fall in love with a girl not at her best looking.
Correct.
I think there's something about that love story there. Mm-hmm. As I wrote
Loved
here,
her for her.
As I wrote here, fell in love with a frog despite clearly liking hotties.
Yeah, you spelled shotties wrong.
He abandoned riches to work at her restaurant.
Yeah.
And he handled the frog life with little issue. Like, he took it in stride. He's like, I'm a frog now.
Yeah.
You want to kiss me, lady? Like, he handled it well. Like, oh, I'm just a frog now. And then they can't talk to animals after their return to the human form, which might help with the delegating.
My God.
So who you got? Who you got?
Oh, Naveen by far.
Okay.
And
he didn't fight a dragon.
He did not. However, Aurora was 14, 16.
She was about 16. He definitely had some numbers on her.
So I can't.
You can't in good conscience.
Full conscience. Yeah.
Okay.
Agree with that. So
I can...
dragon be damned. I don't care. You gonna wait till you're 36.
You don't. But who's got the better love story? I do think it's a nice, funny, like nonsense situation they got into that would be on The Office or something. Of I want to be with this woman, but it's the same woman.
Just because it's funny doesn't make it
good.
A better love story versus falling in love with someone.
Who looks better?
Oh, Naveen, come on, man.
He's got the accent too.
He got the accent,
and he's got the charm. I feel like as a ruler, he with the maturing he did with Tiana, he will be a good ruler who's incredibly charming.
Yeah, and especially since he got set down a peg and learned to love someone for who they are and like you said, pursuing someone else's dreams besides just his own. So
we'll give it to Naveen. He makes it to the semifinals. All right, Prince Charming and Aladdin. Prince Charming, he likes a girl, and he's Cinderella. If I needed to reiterate that. Okay. He falls in love immediately, and he was so desperate he put on everyone's shoes. He made everyone try on this girl's slipper.
Okay.
He has pretty much no character. However, by Cinderella 3, they eventually do develop him. Somewhat.
Cinderella 3.
Though I don't recommend you watch it.
You mentioned that the other day, and I was like, there was a 3?
There was a 2.
I didn't even know there was a 2.
I don't like them.
Okay.
However, the lady who plays Cinderella is a very notable video game actress. Mm-hmm. So it is cool to hear her.
Right. Jennifer Hale.
Yeah. However, I will say there is one great part in Cinderella 3 where he's trying to get to Cinderella and his dad's like stopping him. So the dude jumps out of like a 5-story window and it makes like a really like the most cartoony like Looney Tunes sound ever. And I think that makes me feel a little better about him because the sound effect.
Jumped out?
He jumps out the window and it makes that, imagine like the sound of like, yeah. it's so out of place and I feel like it deserves a mention.
All right.
Versus Aladdin, he went from street rat to prince.
Okay.
He never met his father until Aladdin 3.
I didn't know there was an Aladdin 3.
That's apparently
I thought it was Return of Jafar or something.
That's the second one. There's a third.
I heard that was good.
Apparently, and I've heard various reports on this. the best sequel to any Disney movie, and you like Lion King 1.5.
Yes, I do.
Apparently, Aladdin 3, the Prince of Thieves or whatever, King of Thieves, is the best Disney sequel ever made. We're not including Pixar or Marvel and all those, but apparently that's the top.
I gotta look into that one.
I've heard it's worth going back to. Plus, it's
Now,
Robin Williams.
Aladdin, brush up my memory because I do have the most recent movie.
There's enough similarities. That
He met the princess while she was not a princess, correct?
No, she was a princess. She was in hiding.
That's what I meant. Like, but did he know?
He found out pretty quickly.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because then he meets the genie and he wants to be a prince. He's like, "Oh, I need to be Prince Ali," and all this.
Okay.
So he knows she's a princess pretty quickly. Something I thought interesting was that he steals, but sometimes gives to others that are in more need. That's a good quality to have.
Okay.
And he's poor.
Great quality.
But he's still he's still being charitable. I thought this was interesting. He was joined by Abu the monkey because they met at a circus.
Okay.
And I just found that interesting only because originally when they were creating Aladdin, they wanted him to have like 3 underlings that were like his sidekicks. But they were like, oh, that kind of messes with the character image they have because then they look kind of like not gang-like.
Oh, okay.
But I think they mentioned specifically, this is a cartoon. We can use fantasy and animation in ways that can't be on with live action. Let's put in an animal here.
Right.
So I thought that was a really cool, they turned those 3
I feel like they kind of
into a monkey.
I think that's kind of obvious.
Yeah, but I think that's an interesting behind the scenes.
Okay.
But they met while at the circus.
Okay.
He was working with them. They also, their first few drafts of Aladdin, they decided Jasmine would never go for this. So they made him, and I quote, more Tom Cruise looking. He's got parkour skills, and he does take Jasmine. Do you remember on the carpet ride?
Yeah.
Where do they go?
The world.
I know. That's a good first date, man. I think that is a good first date.
Yeah.
He does lie for a while though. He lies about his identity.
A pretty big liar.
Also, I just thought this was awesome. In the Hercules TV show, they meet up and team up to take on Hades or something. Or it's in one of the TV shows. Hercules, but it's like not buff Hercules.
Yeah, when he was younger. I remember the show.
But okay, they meet up.
That's cool.
And I think that's fascinating, and I need to see this. It's got to be on Disney+.
I want to say he meets up with someone else too, like another Disney property, like another crossover of some sort.
He better. Him and Buzz Lightyear going to... Just joking. However, he also is a Kingdom Hearts party member in those video games.
Oh my gosh.
And does this count to you? His dad is known as the King of Thieves.
This is the 3rd movie?
Yeah. So does that mean he's a prince already? Does that sway you at all? But that's just a nickname.
Right.
Is he actually a prince?
He becomes one. No,
okay.
He is not.
So who you got? I'll show you our categories again. I'll show you what they look like. We got...
I'd say Aladdin.
Oh, right. Yeah, you know who Aladdin is.
Yeah, I know who Aladdin is. I will say I was lost because I was looking at him in his normal uniform, not the full getup he's got
Sultan
here.
Look. Or
right.
whatever.
And then you said Prince Charming was this chicken nugget looking guy over here. Just plain Joe.
When it comes to heroics, he jumped out a window, but Aladdin fought a giant snake.
Okay.
And in the movie, it was like a giant bird or something.
But he's a liar.
He's a liar.
I don't like liars. Don't lie to me.
All right.
When I say you gonna bring her back at 10, I don't trust Aladdin with that. You're gonna take her to magic carpet somewhere else. I don't care if it's the world. You better come back at 10, boy.
I mean, the carpet's pretty fast.
That's true. It's dangerous. She could fall off.
She could. But that's pretty, you got to have courage and bravery. That's pretty heroic.
Oh, you know what? No. Charming?
Mm-hmm.
He had to brave many women's feet.
No, he didn't do that.
Oh,
he sent
else.
his assistant to do that. He didn't even go to every house.
Because he was smart. He didn't want to brave them women's feet. There's a clear winner here, and
Okay,
I'm trying to add some delegation.
Okay, who's more handsome?
By far, Aladdin.
Okay,
I mean, come on.
I do think Prince Charming would be a more.
He'd be better at his job.
He's Aladdin. Would be like, hey man, give to the poor. You can't always
You can't always do that. I see what you're doing.
Wait, I forgot to write this down. I'm sorry. in Cinderella 2, apparently, I don't think I wrote it down, Prince Charming ends segregation of peasants and royalty. He allows peasants into the castle. So you know how you've been at Disney World?
Yeah.
And you went to Magic Kingdom?
Yeah.
And you went near that castle? Did you get to go in?
Yeah. Thanks, Prince Charming.
Yeah, thank you, Prince Charming.
I'm not a peasant. I'm royalty.
Well, anyone is now. It's
I will say, yeah, Aladdin wins,
Okay.
but the lion, I gotta put a little. I'll keep my eye on you.
That's acceptable.
Okay.
All right. Now, Snow White dude versus Flynn Rider. There's so little to say about Prince Florian, who's the guy right in the middle of the picture.
Who is this?
That Sleeping Beauty one.
Oh. Okay. All right, so the middle guy, this is
Prince Florian. There's also
Florian.
debate about his name because different countries called him something different and he has no name in the cast list. Mm-hmm. But we're going to go with Florian. That's what Disney Wikipedia told me.
Okay.
I thought this was interesting. These have been hit and miss for you. He was supposed to have a bigger role in the movie for Snow White. Okay. But he only shows up in the beginning and the very end. Because apparently men were harder to animate at that point in time. So they were like, we can't do this. We got to just use him as little as possible.
Yeah, let's just make 8 men, but just smaller.
Apparently that was easier. I would love to know why that was so difficult.
Yeah.
But I got multiple sources telling me the men were hard to animate.
Okay.
At that point in time. And this was I think the first animated movie, right? It's one of the first.
I heard it was, yeah, something like that.
But they gave all of his roles to Sleeping Beauty guy.
Okay.
He's the only prince to serenade his love interest.
He sings to her?
He sings to her. In every other movie, they sing together or he sings solo. He is the only one to sing directly to his love interest.
Who looked dead.
Uninterrupted.
Who looked dead.
No. She was alive at that time when he sung to her.
This is at the end?
He sings to her at the beginning. That's how he knows her existence. And then he shows up in the end to kiss her.
Oh, man.
He doesn't show up anywhere else.
Yeah, I'm about to say, because I've seen the movie a couple times, but I just remember him at the end. I'm like, well, how did he come in? Okay.
It's not well done.
Okay.
But it's the time. He's the only prince to never interact with the antagonist. All the other princes interact at some point with the antagonist, apparently.
Okay. Trying to think of... Okay. I'll let you continue.
All right. Prince Flynn Rider, another thief turned prince, very Aladdin-like. Do you know how he was designed?
I can't think of it now, but I want to say I've heard this story, but go ahead.
They refer to it as the Hot Man Meeting, where they got all the female crew members for Tangled and said, tell us about the hottest guy you can. Let's pull up pictures. Let's make the hottest man we can possibly create.
Wait, how do they know me? I don't get how do they... All right, well, that's fine. I assume others were thrown in there, so okay. Ryan Gosling, all that stuff. Yeah. Gotcha.
Tom Cruise probably again. He's also the narrator of Tangled.
Yes, I remember that.
He's a very cocky orphan boy as well, like Aladdin. Right. So that might be derivative.
It doesn't matter. That does not... Okay. Just because the story is doesn't mean he is. Okay. That's just he's himself.
He does take Rapunzel to that, like the Snuggly Duckling, the tavern. Mm-hmm. Specifically to scare her. Right. And who knows what those guys were going to do. They were clearly...
very nice people.
Aesthetically scary looking dudes.
Right.
And they could have caused harm to both of them. Mm-hmm. And the chameleon.
Okay.
That's a little sus, as the kids say.
Okay.
He did, however... derivative-wise, their boat scene with the lanterns, it's just Little Mermaid scene. Okay. Flynn Rider is the greatest hits Disney prince. He kind of just gets everyone else's good moments, I feel.
People buy greatest hits a lot.
He does a lie. He's an orphan. That's true. You were going to say something there? Do you recall?
The scene you brought up with the Snuggly Duckling. Mm-hmm. He had already spent more time with Rapunzel on that trip than what's his name?
Prince Florian.
Florian, yeah, a forgettable name.
Okay.
Strangely, both start with F, so that's interesting.
Yeah. I just think it's good for us to discuss this. That way we don't have to repeat ourselves in the semifinals.
Of course. Yeah, already there. I mean, he's got a one-up. I mean, he's clearly, even if he's trying to
He's
scare
the
her,
winner.
he's already spending. Yeah.
He cuts Rapunzel's hair. That was a smart move.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where Flynn Rider loses some points for me. Do you know Flynn Rider's real name?
Did they mention it once? Did they not?
A few times.
It was like Eugene. Okay.
Eugene Fitzgerald.
All right.
Did you know that's not his real name either? This is where I got a little annoyed at what I was finding out. In the Tangled sequel series, you can find it on
Tangled
Disney
Ever
Plus.
After.
I think it's called. It might even have a simpler name than that.
I might.
There's like
I don't know.
no. I know what you're talking about. There's another thing as well.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, he was orphaned because his kingdom was attacked. It was known as the Dark Kingdom, apparently.
All right.
And then the king and queen sent Prince Horace to be hidden away in an orphanage. His real name is Horace, yet, which is automatic points down.
That is a pretty bad name. But he doesn't go by that anymore. Just because that's your real name is not one you go by.
He was not aware of it, though.
Your real name is not Elmo. Sorry.
Now everyone listening is going to know. I just thought that cheapened it a little bit, that he's a member of... He's of the Dark Kingdom, and he's Prince Horace. So he was already a prince.
Sure.
Another Aladdin similar situation, but even worse.
Not really, because he was already a prince. He didn't have to marry into royalty to become a prince. He was already one.
Well, moving to our categories here. Heroics. He did more than kiss a girl.
He sure did.
He wins. Love story. Way stronger. They actually interacted.
He sung with her. So he might not have sung at... Is this the one that sung at her?
Yeah, he serenaded her.
Yeah, I mean, still.
Aesthetics. He was the hot man the hot man meeting. Yeah. He's the basis for hot men.
He's got that smolder too.
They looked... Yeah. It doesn't work, though.
Rapunzel's better than that.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson, though. That's another story. I will say, though, delegation-wise, I don't trust Flynn Rider to run a kingdom. He was one of the kingdom's most wanted men at one point.
Right.
He might be good at like running security, but I don't trust him to...
He'll be able to scope out who the bad seed is in a group.
Okay.
Because he'll have experience.
That. So Flynn Rider wins.
By a mile.
All right. We're going to go to the semifinals now. Prince Eric versus Prince Naveen.
Before we delegate, who do you think?
I know where my heart wants to go, but I feel like my brain is telling me something else. This is why I need your...
My heart and brain are pretty much in sync. I'm going for Naveen.
All right, let me just try to fight for Eric here. I know, and I already fought for him earlier, and you were ready. Oh, what if it was Beast there? Would you have still gone Naveen?
Yeah.
Okay. So Eric here.
You see, I thought about that just a little bit more. Just saying.
What about Beast? Okay, his name's Adam. The Beast name is Adam. Does that rest with it a little bit?
No.
Nothing wrong with Adams, but it just doesn't fit.
Whatever.
It's not Horace, at least.
True that.
Flynn Rider. What's the most heroic feat? You know, I like that word.
Yeah.
That Naveen acts out on. That's not the phrase, but you get what I'm saying.
That he faces.
What was his most heroic feat?
He braved the crocodiles. One of them was a nice one, but the other ones weren't. He was kind of the reason that they were attracted to them in the first place, right? Like, they overheard him. It's his fault. This is all his fault. This was all happening to begin with. Correct, yeah. I think he wins in Love Story. Right. Let's look at the categories. He wins in Love Story. Who is he?
Naveen and Prince Eric. Little
Mermaid.
Mermaid.
So heroics, he's got him. Eric's got him on heroics.
He fought Ursula, giant Ursula.
Right.
So I'm putting it here, whatever. Eric, Naveen. Who's more handsome?
That's a good one.
Is it? Naveen has an accent.
Yeah,
but
the accent helps because that automatically makes you more handsome.
But you see Eric always with them like cutoff shirts.
Yes.
And you know them chest hairs flowing. He's a stud. You know he's a stud.
He is a stud, but the accent, man, it helps. It helps with the ladies.
All right, and then the delegating ability.
So you agree?
I agree.
You wrote Naveen? Okay.
I agree.
Because just because he's wearing cutoffs because he's by the sea, it's hot. Well, I guess New Orleans is kind of hot too, but whatever. Yeah. He also has more style. You saw him.
He does have style.
Yeah.
The way who would you? Okay, you say, hey.
Oh, and he can move to the groove.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, who would you bring to the club?
Yeah.
You say, oh, I need to invite someone to my wedding.
Right.
You invite Naveen.
Yeah, boy.
You might be like, hey, dude, you got to calm down at some point.
Right.
But if this is post Tiana Naveen, you're just in for a good time.
Yeah.
Delegating, though, who do you trust more?
I still don't know too much about Eric and what he's done.
Okay.
Sure, he wasn't vain, but that doesn't have anything to do with how he delegates.
He does captain the ship, so he seems to have some authority.
Which crashed.
that was not his fault. The second boat he captained, it did crash as well into Ursula.
Right. So he crashed. He crashed the ship twice.
Right. So let me bring up 2 points.
All right.
When in Little Mermaid 2, he defends his daughter when Ariel doesn't.
The thing is, okay, here's what's going on. Mm-hmm. You're getting 2 movies to pull from. Princess and the Frog only has 1.
I'm gonna bring. I'm gonna kind of go against. Listen to my next point, and you might feel it's a little more even. Also, it's so minor. He's barely in that movie.
Okay.
I was pulling at strings to think of anything to add from that movie. I was like, it's a whole second movie. Like, it's got
right.
All right. Let's see how I phrased it here. Prince Eric. God, I have so many papers. I have political questions for him. Not political. It would be. He's a king, so it would be political. He runs a kingdom where? It's on the coast, right? Mm-hmm. What do places on the coast, what are they known for? If they're going to have a lot of trade.
He killing fish.
He's killing fish.
Yeah.
Yet, how do you think Ariel would feel if, man, it's Flounder. You know that dude. And
don't taste delicious.
Have I ever showed you the picture of Flounder from Little Mermaid 2?
Does he look different?
Oh my god! Let me show you a picture because I'm gonna pull it up on this bit here, and on this you're gonna see. It's like, why did they design him in this way?
Why would they? I'm struggling to think of what they would do differently. I mean, he already had a design. Why would you change it?
Look at this.
Ew,
he's got a gut.
Why?
That's a lot of meat on that fish.
Yeah.
Maybe he got buff. I don't know.
No, that's a gut.
It's
or a tumor. One of the. Why would you do that?
This.
Hold on, give me. That might just be a weird. Give me this.
No, man. It's.
How do you go back?
You don't like iPhones, huh?
No. Is this it too? Why is Ursula skinny?
That's her sister.
Oh my god, Ursula.
I forget her name.
See, the gut isn't too bad there, but yeah, he looks stupid. All right, that's.
He's clearly aged.
Oh, I just got really close to the mic. Whoops. Whatever.
Okay, so you would think he would stop being so pro fishing.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, what do you think he does?
Oh, did you find out?
No, this is obviously not a question to answer. But if we're going to answer the delegating question,
no, that's what it's going to be.
Do you think he stops with the fish, or is he now protecting fish? And how does that affect his delegating ability? That's got to be a huge part of his kingdom.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I assume he would. I mean, if he's really that great of a person, he would stop, or at least find a way to just get the bad fish.
All the eels.
Yeah, all the eels and sharks and whatnot.
Oh man, you got Ursula's cousin. Where's her grandpa? There's a theory that she's Ariel's aunt or something. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
But if he is pro fish, does that weaken his kingdom's economy?
It will. So wait, no. If he's pro fish, as in save him.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, they would have to find a new
trade.
Yeah, a new trade.
So who do you
kill all the seagulls?
So what side? That's a problem too. So what side do you think he takes with little information we have? Because he's not a very fleshed out character.
He would take Ariel's side, and then See, that's what I want to happen, because like I want him to be a good person, clearly. Mm-hmm. But I don't know.
You don't want King Triton on you, man. He's
true.
Gonna come for family reunions and be
That's
like,
true.
"Yo, you killed another mermaid. You killed another fish."
He will take Ariel's side, but his people will not like him anymore.
So who's the better delegator?
That's a hard one.
He's satisfying two kingdoms now. This is the kind of educated discussion you can have on Educated Discussions. Make sure to subscribe for more.
Naveen, though, as much as I want him to win this, he also was just terrible with money. So, hence him.
Tiana did get that restaurant.
Because she was great with money.
So you would assume they would be like...
Correct. So she
might even them out.
Right. We'll see.
Who...
It's just not much on him. Like, there's no second movie to really delve deep into.
There's so little of Eric in the second movie. Don't worry.
Okay.
So who you got? We kind of have a tie here. We need a fifth category.
Yeah. What are you leaning towards?
Feel like no matter what I do, all the teenagers listening
to
the Educated Discussions will be incredibly frustrated with me. And you'll notice I'm stalling because I actually don't know where to go. I feel like...
Look, I'm leaning to who I know more.
I would trust Eric more than Naveen. Like, if we're looking at it from the father role, maybe that should be the fifth category. Because that was...
Here's the thing, as a father, though. If I don't care if you're great with money or how you run things. I would, but I would find it more... not attractive, but more endearing if you like someone for who they are, regardless of their appearance. If you like them for their soul.
Okay.
And Naveen's got that in the bag. So Naveen wins
All
for
right.
me.
You are an educated man. I'm gonna trust you. Naveen makes it to the finals.
Okay.
All right. Now we got Aladdin versus Flynn Rider. Street rat versus orphan. This seems hard to me.
This is a tough one, but let's go through it.
Hey,
all right, heroics. Giant snake.
He fought a giant snake.
He fought a whole kingdom that was after him and two bullies.
he did, and with just a frying pan.
But that was what's her face.
He uses it as well.
Okay.
At one point. He's like, who knew? I remember that.
Right, yeah. Okay, so far we'll give that one to Aladdin. We'll come back to that one. Love story. I say Flynn.
Yeah, Flynn.
Yeah, because I feel like Aladdin, as cool as he seems, he's like, oh, that's a princess.
Yeah, you always have to think in the back of your head, like, if she wasn't a princess, would there be that same attraction?
Yeah. Because that's why I tried, because I was like, I kind of want Aladdin to win, but then I was like, that's why I threw that in there earlier. I'm like, but he met her before he knew, right? But you're like, kind of find out right away. He met her
before he...
But, like, didn't really pursue it to that extent until he found out.
But he didn't know, he didn't really know she existed.
Right. And Flynn started to fall for her before he found out that she was royalty at all. She just
That's true.
Yeah, so I would give that to Flynn.
All right. I agree. Who's hotter?
Flynn, come on.
I mean, okay, Aladdin's got that tan skin.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Aladdin's got that tan skin.
He's mocha.
He's got that mocha skin, that flowing dark hair. But Flynn was crafted.
Specifically.
He was specifically crafted
the hot man meeting.
Hot man meeting.
I'll put stars.
It is a very close call, but if he was specifically crafted for this reason, I say you give it to Flynn.
Something I forgot to mention.
Plus, Zachary Levi is nice looking.
Yeah. Something I forgot to mention way earlier. In Snow White, I think she's 14.
Oh my god.
So
Come on, Disney.
This is old Disney. They know better now. They just put Dwayne Johnson in there and give no male love interest. Who do you trust to run a kingdom? I feel like this is a tie. They have the same skill set.
It's the same thing. They're both really good at being mischievous and getting out of sticky situations.
I'd say Flynn Rider has more charm, but Aladdin, he could parkour way better than Flynn Rider.
True.
He also was in Kingdom Hearts. I don't know if that...
Oh my god.
Oh no, he's in Tangled. Okay, Tangled is in that Third Kingdom Hearts,
Right.
but he's not a party member. Rapunzel's the one who fights.
All right.
Who do you trust?
This one's stumping me. See, the thing is, I'm leaning more towards Flynn, right?
Is that because your heart?
Because of my heart.
Mm-hmm.
But I also like Aladdin too, so it's like my heart is winning here.
Okay, well, who's the better delegate? Who's going to run a better kingdom?
I don't know.
No,
they're both not the best at it, and they're both known for stealing, which isn't the best thing. But since the love story is stronger, and that is how he will delegate, being in love with the woman who technically, well, I guess he wouldn't have more authority, but I feel like because the love connection is a little more stronger between Flynn and Rapunzel, he would be more willing to listen to her and cooperate with her more than Aladdin would with Jasmine. So I'd say...
Are we cutting Aladdin?
Yeah.
You cut Aladdin?
That's me. But if you want to argue it, go for it. That's my explanation. Does that not make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. But then I think of that big snake. I'm just joking. I just think of that. He took her around the world. He just took her to see some lanterns.
Not only did he take her around the world, boy, he sung about it.
Yeah. How much does Flynn sing?
Surrounded by enormous piles of money.
Yeah.
Nah, he sung the stars. The lights. That was a nice song.
But did Flynn ever meet Hercules?
Get out of here. We know who wins this one.
All right. Ugh. This hurt. All right, we're at the finals.
One thing to note, because who do we have as the finals?
Naveen versus Flynn.
2 more recent additions. Mm-hmm. I feel like Disney knew they had a Prince problem.
Do we want to name this podcast The Prince Problem?
The problem with Prince Pass. Anyway. Like 4 people will get that.
That video has like 22 views.
It's not doing as much as I'd like. Anyways, so yeah, I can see how Disney has improved on that for sure. Yeah. Especially when you break it down to it. When you break it down towards the end,
they've definitely improved. They've upped the ages of the women.
They did.
That was a good first step.
Yeah, pretty important first step. Mm-hmm. And then they made them a little bit more complicated. Mm-hmm. They didn't make them just goody 2 shoes with one literally measuring shoes for somebody. So they definitely gave them more complicated, flaws, which is a good thing to have because there definitely shouldn't be.
They are flawed.
They definitely shouldn't be a perfect prince out there because there isn't.
His Prince Charming tries.
He definitely did, and yeah, look where that got him. Nowhere.
Didn't make it to the semifinals.
No. So the finals.
All right. So I'm gonna cross on my notes here. If we're looking at heroics, Naveen versus Flynn. I'm always biased towards Naveen because of the Shadow Man is, I think, the greatest Disney villain. But that's another conversation for another time. I don't know if we do that.
No. We're already close to an hour here. We gotta narrow this down.
I mean, we've narrowed it.
Well, no. I mean, but
I got you.
We gotta narrow it down to 1. To the winner.
Who's the more heroic?
The thing is, if you've noticed, the heroics didn't come into play with who he chose. What did Naveen do?
None of them are. Aladdin was the most heroic.
I'm talking about who we got at the end. We're not talking about Aladdin anymore. He lost. He's a loser.
Well, you just said it never played, and I think Aladdin.
No. It doesn't play to who we ended up with.
Okay,
that's what I meant.
Well,
because what's his name? Naveen. Nothing crazy. Flynn, nothing crazy.
I think also the problem is it's not a problem, but those 2 movies, because they're more like trying to do better, the women get way more of the heroic moments.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. A lot more girl power for sure. But that's not what we're here to talk about. As much as
who's more heroic? We got to pick. I feel like
I want to say Flynn. Only because and due to his own cause, of course, but he got himself into a lot of trouble. So there's the Shadow Man. That's fine. But he didn't really face the Shadow Man. He got tricked by him. And that's it. Naveen's troubles were mostly out in the wild.
He plays guitar on the back of an alligator.
with a stick and a spider's web. So
that's well, you could delegate.
Yeah, but the alligator was friendly.
All right, fine. Heroics Flynn.
Again, not by a huge margin, but that is the way
love
I see
story.
it.
He fell in love literally with her personality, because there's nothing attractive about a frog to me.
That is correct.
I hate
Although
frogs
he did
so much.
see Tiana beforehand, though. Gotta keep that in mind. So he knew what was.
That's
what
true.
Was in there. Yeah.
I didn't consider that.
Yeah. So that's something to consider.
And Flynn saw her before she was a brunette. You didn't deal with that hair running around.
Yeah.
It's so dirty.
Yeah.
Twigs in there again.
This one's a tough one. Because Flynn was known as a very selfish person. I guess as
they
much.
both were.
Yeah, but. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
I think
This one's
Naveen
tough.
wins this because at least Flynn got to see like this woman that he saw as beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Where, dude, you tell me to remember someone I saw one time, I'm not gonna remember all the details. This dude had really no interest in Tiana until he got to know her and learn about her dream. I think he is stronger with the love here.
No arguments there.
Who's hotter? Who has better aesthetics? Sorry, that's how I wanted to phrase this.
No, hotter is good. I still gotta say Flynn.
The accent, it didn't work. It doesn't trump him here.
The thing is, no, the accent definitely helps Naveen. But
Are you talking about art style now?
definitely art style, because that's literally what it's called, aesthetics. But I feel like Flynn's just got a charm to him, like that scoundrel kind of way.
He's
about
definitely
him.
more, if you're familiar with video games, more Uncharted Nathan Drake like.
Right, and he is a very handsome man. But that's if you want to argue, please.
I mean, again, they created the hot man meeting.
Okay, I want to stress before we continue. This is difficult. And the reason it's difficult is because we came down to these two characters. So there's no perfect answer, but the one that we ultimately end up choosing is what we're going to stand by for the rest of our lives.
No. This is the definitive answer.
Yeah.
You can go home. No, listen now. When you're done with this podcast, you will go home and you'll be like, there's no question. This is the
Florian.
He laid down on the floor, Ian. All right, Flynn. The hot man meeting is
that's
you can't beat it. He was manufactured to be the hottest.
correct.
Which feels like almost like cheating.
It is a little cheating, but if Disney finds it fair game, then so should we.
Okay. We did contact them about this.
Correct,
they
yeah.
ignored all my tweets.
Yeah.
All right, delegate.
Dang it. Because I want to say Naveen, but then that puts us at a tie.
No, why do you want to say Naveen? Almost all of these have come out. This one came out to a tie, and this one, they've all come out to ties on our list.
I guess not, because... Wait a minute. Oh, wait, never mind.
I was really excited that we were going to...
I'm stupid, because I was like, Tiana isn't a princess? But princess. Okay.
You thought we should just destroy
Yeah, I was like, wait a
the
minute.
last hour has been a waste. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I got something. Let me get
No,
this. Let me get this
get it
in.
out.
At the end of that movie, they still have the ability to talk to animals, which is
How do we get confirmation of this?
there's a sequel kind of novel.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware.
That's great for delegation. If you can talk to animals,
Doesn't mean they'll listen to you.
they got a gator. Okay, they got a
He
gator
just wants
playing
to
the
play
trumpet.
music.
But that's gonna help. Like, hey bird, find out what that assassin's doing.
Jesus. It's a different movie.
Tangled can't do that. They do have a horse that clearly understands English.
And a chameleon that's fun.
They might as well speak English, but they don't communicate through words. I feel like Naveen, he's more charming than Flynn Rider. I feel like if I saw Flynn Rider, I'd be like, he's a tryhard. Where Naveen, tryhard's maybe too strong of a term, but Naveen is so natural at it.
He is
He
natural.
never points out his own smolder. He just does it.
He doesn't have a smolder. He you can't smolder as a frog, which is the majority of when we see him. Okay. Flynn is more charming, but it's a facade. It's an act that he puts on. So I will give it to you that Naveen is definitely more charming. So, but that's not delegation though.
But it's going to help with the delegating. You've got to be able to impress rival kingdoms.
Okay, here's what I wanted to bring up earlier. So you already wrote him down, but
okay, I crossed him out.
Unless there's more information on this side book that you talked about.
I know nothing else about the book.
How I know this story ends, the restaurant gets open, Naveen helps. Where's the kingdom being run? How is that being run?
I would assume once his parents are done, they come to the restaurant, they visit. So I would assume they'd eventually have to leave New Orleans to go to Maldonia.
Is that the best? To leave the restaurant that Tiana always wanted, and now he's got to go run somewhere really far away, and something to consider. Whereas Flynn,
I mean, she opened up a franchise.
He had really no place to go, so he's staying at
Tiana's place could be the Wendy's of New Orleans.
People can see my face right now.
So you're saying Flynn?
I am saying Flynn, but I want to hear your rebuttal. Did what I say not kind of make sense? Because I saw a little something in your eye, like, damn.
No, you've made great points.
Okay.
But Flynn will at points come off disingenuous, which is going to be a problem when you're dealing with other, I was going to say deities, royalties. Naveen does it more naturally. He can lie, but you'll buy it more than Flynn.
But does that come into delegating, though? Like, it will.
You have to.
It will, but
you saw Castlevania?
I sure did. We're not going to get into that right now. A Disney podcast. All I know is I have a better idea of what Flynn will do in his position because I can see the castle that he's at. Mm-hmm. I can see there's already a strong foundation of there. I have no idea what this castle looks like, where Prince Naveen is coming from. He didn't know how to spend money well then and left to have someone save him. And I know
he gave it
although his name is Horace or whatever, he was never really a prince to begin with. So I feel he come in with a fresh mind on how to do things. And again, he'll at this point he would just be the prince. There's still a strong looking king and a strong looking queen. He was huge. That will set him straight. Versus I don't know too much of Naveen's parents. They seem to like good gumbo. That's great. and but I have no idea what his kingdom looks like and how that will be run. I have yet to see him. And again, same thing with Flynn, but I don't know anything about his parents, so I don't know what direction he will be set
But
on.
you're not considering the time we live in now. The kingdom entangled, you know what it's called? Corona.
Is it?
It's called Corona. I'm not even joking.
That's funny.
Okay. I'm going to write down Flynn. You made a good point about the lack of knowledge we have about Naveen's kingdom itself, and then the whole ripping Tiana away from that business. I think she would do it.
You think she would leave that restaurant?
I think
She's been building all her life.
I mean, it became successful. I would assume she would like come in and out.
I don't think so.
She's gonna be like the regional manager, like the. If we're watching The Office, she's Jan. She's coming in and out of the. Sorry.
If she does that, it would not be anytime soon. She'd want to make sure that
his parents will go for a little longer.
Okay.
But I think he's sorry. Flynn's gonna immediately get more experience. The king will set him straight. If not the king, and apparently in like I've seen a little bit of that Tangled animated series in the background, and like there's always some girl giving him a hard time about how she doesn't trust him. I feel like he would go out of his way to prove himself.
Okay.
So we've decided a winner.
Yeah.
It's the greatest Disney prince. Can you announce it? Oh, hold on. I'm gonna do a voice. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest Disney prince of all time is
Flynn Rider.
Also known as Eugene Fitzherbert, also known as Horace of the Dark Kingdom. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us as we decided the definitive answer to your question. Who is the greatest Disney prince?
Yeah, do you guys have a different opinion? Let us know, but let us know why we were wrong, because anyone can say who they think is the right prince. I mean, but can you at least see where we're coming from?
Yeah. Can we give a special shout out to Simba? A prince in his own way.
The thing is, he was never trying to be prince. He was talking about king. Like, he was just trying to skip right past it. He was already a prince. But he didn't care about that.
Spoilers for Lion King for the next 15 seconds. Are you ready?
I don't know, man.
He becomes... He's only prince for like 20 minutes of that movie.
That's too soon, man.
He's king pretty quick.
He's king pretty quick.
Also, Emperor Cusco, I think he represents a lot of what I want out of a king or royalty.
Yeah.
I saw John Smith on that picture from Pocahontas. No, get rid of him.
Yeah, that's dumb.
And I do not consider him a prince. But Li Shang from Mulan,
no,
he's a great guy.
He
deserves
awesome.
some respect, but he is not a prince.
If this was greatest men in Disney, he would be
greatest Disney men.
Yeah, he'd be tough. He'd be up there.
He'd be better than the 2020 Mulan. You should listen to that podcast. Available on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube, and other various podcasting platforms. But we're gonna end it here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening, everyone.
We hope you enjoyed your time, and I want you to do me a favor. Keep it educated.